there, anybody on YouTube who happens to be watching this, and hello to everybody in the room with me. Hi. Yay. All right, this is our third and final recorded session, anyways, of our training program. Uh, from now on, basically what I'm going to do is just one-on-one practice, because I think this is probably about enough, or as much as you can learn from a setting like this. Anyways, so today what we're going to do is we're going to go through step by step, setting up a service, everything start to finish, everything you would need to do on the average Sunday. I'm not going to go through, selecting new audio inputs or anything like that. I will show you how to select a video to play, though. So if you want to go over that again, that was in our video, our training session 2, our second video, if you want a refresher on that. Okay, so Dale is going to do a written checklist for us as we go through. Thank you, Dale. You're awesome. All right, so step number 1. I like to start with the announcements. So before I even open OBS, I like to go through and make sure I've got everything ready to go for it. So I'm going to start with our announcement slides. So I'm going to open up PowerPoint. And our announcement slides are pinned here. And here down the left-hand side are all of our slides. So you just need to check and see, are there any changes that need to be made? So in this case, for next week, we might as well just do this. Actually, I'm just going to delete this because we're not doing any more training. And then the only other, as I said previously, the easiest way to create a new announcement slide is just to duplicate this blank slide here, which you just right-click and click duplicate, and make sure you unhide it. And then you can just enter your text or any picture backgrounds you like. Again, I'm not going to do a whole course on PowerPoint here. If all you ever did was black text on a white background on a Sunday, if you couldn't figure out anything else, that's just fine. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. And the other thing to remember is some of our slides we don't run every Sunday. So our communion slide, just make sure you unhide it if you need that. And I usually give a 1-week reminder for that as well. So I could just edit this one and I would say communion next week. So you right-click, and then right there it says hide slide. It always says hide, but if it's already hidden, it will unhide it. So now, yeah, and there's a little slash through. I don't know how clearly you guys can see that. I know it's not the. So then right-click, hide slide. Yeah. Okay. So we're just going to go ahead and save that. And then we are going to go to, now this is the thing that you will have to do every week. So you go to File, Export. And we are going to create a video. Please let me know, Dale, if I'm going too fast for you. Do you want to? Are you sure? Okay. Anyways. So we're not it says here, do not use recorded timings and narrations. That's what we want, but we're going to change it to 10 seconds instead of 5. And then we are going to create our video. And just click save because we want to save over the pre-existing video. We don't need to keep a log of previous announcement slides. So do you want to replace it? Yes. And then just make sure to check down here and make sure that it's actually loading there. Okay, so while we're doing that, we can open up the next program we need to do here, which is OpenSong. That's the purple with the music notes there. Generate index for scriptures file NIV. Yes. For OpenSong, actually, anything it would ask you, just click yes. I don't think there's anything in OpenSong that you wouldn't, yeah. So we're going to go to set mode. We're going to click the little plus button here underneath where it says sets, and we're going to put in the date. Again, we're using a year, month, day format, so 2020-09-20. Can anybody tell me, does anybody remember why we use that date format? So it always comes up in the correct order. Thank you, Sherry Lynn. That's exactly why. Oh, right. Because we already did one today. We'll do 21. There we go. All right. So then we're going to pick 3 songs. Joy, can you give me a song? Which you could just use the mouse. I like... Apparently we don't have that one. Pick another song. Sure, okay. Sherry Lynn, can you pick a song for me? And then add. And Brian, can you pick a song for me? You got out of it this morning. Do we... Jesus, He Loves Me? Okay. All right, and then we're going to click Done. Okay, and we're going to pretend, say if Pam was speaking usually, you might have some scriptures ahead of time. So we're gonna click scriptures. I didn't mean anything by that. It's just what happens. We're gonna click. Dan's laughing at me. But I mean, anyways, it's good to know how to do it on the fly as well, because it's very easy to miss one, and frankly, I mean, a lot of times it's a bit of a rush to, I'm just being honest, it's a bit of a rush to finish them, right, Brian? Yeah, so I just try to, that's something Pam likes to do. I've never even asked Brian to do it, really, I don't think. Have I? No, because I recognize that there's already a lot going on, and it's, once you get used to it, it's very quick to do it on the fly. So anyways, so we're going to do 1 Kings 20:18 to 43. Why do we always go to the end of the chapter? In case they keep going. Exactly right. Yes, question from Joy. You would have to go and add. You would have to go and add. Yes, so the question was, if they go on to the next chapter, you would have to add that chapter at that point. It only gives you within that chapter in a single slide, so to speak. All right, and I'll do Ecclesiastes, sure. And done. Okay, so it'll give us 2. All right. So we're going to save. Does anybody other than Jeremy know what the next step is? Okay, so yeah, that's it. So we're going to change the background. So we're going to click on a song, and then we're going to come over to override slide, click on the slide. Once you get used to doing this, you don't even really think about all these clicks. Then we got to wait for the images to load. Is that faster? Apparently, if you just click browse, Dan says it's faster. I used to have a Canada one. I used to have like a... Oh, there it is. There we go. It's not a red maple leaf, but still, whatever. All right. And then if you go to the next one, it's going to ask you, do you want to save changes? I click yes. You could also click on save up here in between. Either one is just fine. And this is definitely a limitation of the program, not of the computer. There we go. I'll just click this one at random. I got to start using more of those abstracts. I tend to not do abstracts, but I should do more of them. And we'll do the last one. Yes, Dan was just saying that the reason why it's slow, it's not actually a problem with the computer. It's a little bit of a limitation of the program. It takes a while to generate all of these little picture previews, so that's why it takes a while. But, I mean, it's not really that long. Brian just asked, do you do for scripture? No, we do not, because we just use the same we just use the same Bible background for all the scriptures, and that's set as a default, so you don't have to worry about that. That's a good question, though. All right, so our set list is saved. Jeremy, what's the next step? That's right. So we're going to check and make sure, because we've recently changed the format of our slides, some of our lyrics don't fit on those slides as well as they used to. So we have to do present. We're going to preview dual screen, and that's going to show you what everybody else is going to see on the same screen. So basically all you would have to do is go through and look and see if anything looks really too small. So some of those are a bit small. And again, you don't need to worry about the scriptures because it will basically just put a single verse on. It's not that there isn't the odd scripture that's like the odd scripture verse that's really long that starts to get a little bit small. It's not really worth going through and looking for them though, because that's actually fairly rare. I mean, a lot of verses are a single sentence, right? So it's not something to really worry about that much. So which one was a bad one here? I'll do Jesus, He Loves Me. Okay, so let's say we decide, you know what, Jesus, He Loves Me, it's looking a little crowded, there's a bit much on there. So we're going to press Escape. And then we're going to go to Song Mode. And what was I doing? Jesus, He Loves Me. And it's just in alphabetical order here. Okay. So actually, we already, it looks like we have finished splitting these verses into two, but we forgot to label them. So over here where it says section, so that says verse 1, which we already have a verse 1. We're going to put verse 1a to indicate that it is still verse 1, but it's the second part of verse 1. And don't worry about that spacing there. It'll fix that all on its own. And the same thing here with verse 2. I'm just going to click section. Now we're going to have to change this to 2 this time. And then also A. And I'm actually just going to change the spacing on this a bit. So this is just like editing any Word document, other than making sure that you tag your sections, because that's what'll divide it up into slides. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and save this. And you see when I clicked save, it made it all line up again there. Dan's suggesting I do the couldn't runs. So I will do the couldn't runs. Might as well fix it while we're doing this, right? We'll click save, and there we go. All right. So we're going to go back to set mode. Redo our preview just to make sure that, yes, it's looking better now. As I said, I'm not going to worry about O Canada. There we go. Now our verses are in 2 slides instead of 1. And our chorus is, I think, just looks a little better and a little easier to read. And some of this is just use your best judgment. Like if you think a change is needed to make it easier to read, make it. And if you think, well, it's like, if it doesn't need to be made, then don't worry about like trying to make them all look exactly the same or anything like that, because you could. Yeah. All right, so we're going to click escape there. Okay, so this is all ready to go. Now, what you would normally do at this point is go to present, and there would be an option here that says dual screen. Now, the reason why we don't have that is because we're duplicating our display instead of extending it, so we only have one screen. So I'm going to do the preview dual screen again, but normally it would just be present dual screen. All right, and I'm going to, you can just hide back here. Sure. Okay. I'm just going to make this yeah, that's good. Okay. Unfortunately, it doesn't get any shorter. All right, so we're going to come back to our slides here, which that's finished, so we can just go ahead and close that. Now, this is something that we didn't get to last week. So if you open up Windows File Explorer, this is the music for people coming into the church and also the background for the announcement slides. So if you click on Windows File Explorer, and there's a file here called music from, do you know what, I'm just gonna rename this folder right now to give it something. Where is rename? Can I not rename this from here? There it goes. Don't know why I'm like it. Anyways, so I'm going to say I'm just going to say background music. How about that? Okay. So you're just going to come to this background music folder, which should be pinned here, so it should always be there. It's already pinned to it's added to quick access. So here it says remove from quick access. I've already kept it there. Okay. So we're gonna open up VLC, which looks like the little road pylon. And I'm gonna show you guys a quick little file management trick. Okay, so you could select all of these if you want to. We don't really need that much music, so usually I just pick a random one in the middle or wherever, and then I scroll down a bit and I pick another one. If you hold shift when you click the second one, it will select everything in the middle. There's just a free little extra computer file tip for you. And then we're just going to drag that over to VLC, and that will start playing. So that's going to keep playing. Whether we could hear it or not, all I've done is actually just turn down that channel, so it'll still be going out over the internet. It's just we can't hear it in the room here. So that's ready to go. So we can even just minimize that, and you don't even really need to worry about that again. So yes, so what is going out to the internet, that music will not play over top of anything else. It will not play other than during the announcement slides. Yes. You don't have to remember to turn it off or anything like that. It will, however, and this happened to me a couple of times, play here in the room if you're playing a video, and it will play over the audio from the video in the room. So if you are playing a video, you need to make sure that you close VLC there, because probably you won't need it in the announcements at that point anyways. All right, so we're going to go ahead and open up OBS here. There we go. And there's our OBS ready to go. And if we transition to our announcement slides, the slide that was for the to announce the training session for today should no longer be there. If we just give it a second. And it's correct, it is not there. So that has updated. So that is the reason why I like to do the announcement slides before you open OBS. If you open OBS first, it will not update that file. It'll use the older file. So that's the reason why I like to do these other things beforehand. I haven't noticed it specifically affecting OpenSong. It shouldn't. It's a screen cap. It's a little bit different way of capturing the image, so it doesn't affect. If you had to go back and change something in OpenSong, it doesn't affect us as much. I just like to do all the things before I open that I can do before I open OBS beforehand. Just it helps me keep track in my head of everything I need to do. Okay, so now that we've opened OBS, we need to do our audio sync check, which I forgot about this morning until Jer reminded me. So good on you, Jer. So we're going to click on our audio sync check slide, and we're going to transition to that, and then we're going to click any one of these will work. So sure, soundboard. We're going to click the little gear here, and we're going to go to advanced audio properties. Now this morning we moved all of these. That's interesting. I know, but the desktop audio. Oh, never mind. Right. Okay. Anyway, so we're going to change all of these up or down by one. How do we know that it's up or down? If it's a 1, we move it down. If it's a 0, we move it up. Okay. So that's checked. So now, yes. So we had, it might be fine. It might be an unnecessary step, but we've had it a couple of times now where it's gotten out of sync. So it's better to just take the 2 seconds, just make that change. And you only need to do that once. Thank you, Brian. Anyways, so the next thing we can do is we can set up our YouTube stream, which we could have done before we opened OBS. We can do it now as well. It doesn't actually make a difference. So I have a little bookmark up here that says YouTube Studio, and that will take you where you need to go. Then we're going to go to Create, go live. And don't worry, when you click that button, that does not mean we're going live to the internet yet. So we are going to schedule a new stream. And we're going to, just reuse the settings. You will change the date. So I'm going to call this 21. No, that doesn't mean that I can't stream it today. It's just a title. I'm going to make this unlisted because nobody else needs to... Well, actually, it's not going to do anything anyway, so sure. We'll leave it as public. Brian was speaking today, so we'll leave that. Obviously, if it was Pam, you changed it to Pam, or if it was a guest speaker, I just put guest speaker so-and-so. And then here we have the date. So normally you would be doing the day of or the day before, so just put it to that date. And then we would do 10:45 in the morning. Again, it doesn't mean you can't start the stream earlier. It just it's more of a title page. Right. It's already after. Anyways, sure. 2:30. That's whatever. That's fine. Normally it would be 10:45. Yeah. All right. So and again, I explained this before. We put no, it's not made for kids. This is not an appropriate or not appropriate for kids. It is is the main audience for this video specifically children, which in our case it's not. It's not that it's not appropriate, it's just not who we're looking to reach here. So we're going to click create. Correct. So what Brian just said, he just asked, so if somebody was searching for kids videos, it wouldn't show up in their search. That is absolutely correct. There is actually a whole separate YouTube for kids. So that's kind of nice. All right, so we're going to click on, so this is the one that we're doing today. So this is our 0921. All right, so now this is trying to connect to our streaming software. So we are going to let it do that. So we're going to come back to our OBS here. And we are going to go start streaming. Now again, this does not mean that we're actually live out to the internet yet. So we're just going to give it a second here to connect. This is the question is this a live video? No, we're not doing it live because the program that I would use to do this live is the program that I'm trying to teach you. So so we're doing just basic screen recording software, and then I've been uploading them afterwards. Okay. So now we have here. I'll go to a different slide here, just so we can see that yes, it is connected. Just give it about 10 seconds ish. And you don't need to worry about, as long as you have copied the previous video in your settings, you don't need to worry about any of these settings down here. The only thing you're concerned about is, can I see a video here and this button up here? And then the chat down the side if there's anybody that has anything to say. All right, so we've done our audio check over here. All our slides are in order. Oh, we are going to add a video. That is the one other thing. So I'm going to come to video here. I'm going to right click on media source there, and I'm going to click properties. Then I'm going to click Browse here to choose my video file, which this is our videos folder. Let's see what we got in here. Media icons. What do we got here? Sure, overview of Titus. There we go. So we're just going to click OK. So it's changed what video we're going to play. Again, it's just, I like to keep that scene there because then you don't have to, you just have to change which video it's playing. And if you wanted to say Brian wanted to play this video before he started speaking, you just click and drag that scene up. Again, you don't need to actually reorder those. You could just skip down to it. It's not like these have to go in order. I just find it simpler in my brain. It just helps me organize myself. So if we click on the video and we click transition, yes, it goes, but it's not the right size, again, because we changed our screen size. So normally it would just fill the screen and it would be no problem. And that's another reason to just keep reusing the same one, that you don't have to worry about resizing to fit the space. It should just do it automatically. All right, so we've got our video in place. We have all of our other stuff in place here. We are streaming, so let's just pretend that it's time to go. So we're going to do our countdown, which I like to do a 5, 4, 3, then point, which obviously I don't say points. And click. So actually, no, I'm sorry. It's sometimes hard to remember what you're doing when you're just so used to doing it. So before that even happens, we want to click go live at 10:30 and start playing the announcements. My apologies. So just make sure that it's our announcement slides that are up. Our audio, our music here should still be playing. Let's see. No, it's not because I started a video. So and you don't even have to do that to check and see. As long as you see VLC and that there's music playing there, that maybe check and see why there isn't. Yeah, that's right. So now we have our announcement slides going up here. All right. And now, once it's 10:45, we would come back to OBS here. We would get ready for our kids song, and then I would do our countdown. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. I actually click transition at 1 because it just gives you that extra second for it to actually load. And now we are live with whoever is speaking. And you'll wait and see that there is about a 20-second delay there. Anyways. All right. So let's pretend, okay, we've got our kids song. The next one we would do is speaking full frame. Again, make sure you click that transition button. Now, does anybody remember the difference between kids song and speaking full frame? It's different microphones. Yeah, it's different microphones. You're close. I know what you're thinking of, Dale. And I'll ask you again in a second. All right. So then we'll go on to speaking full frame, and Brian will come in and say our announcements, and then we'll go to our live music, which there's our slides. So we'll transition over to that. Don't worry if you don't see the video. The video does not show up. Like the live camera does not show up until after it's transitioned over. Then we can go through and see all of our words, which is pretty. It's just the songs and then the individual slides in those songs. Okay. And then we will move on to, in this case, we were going to do our video. So we would transition to our video, which again would be the proper size if we hadn't changed the display. You can click on video again so it's on the other side, right? You're going to click on that. And you see it just gives you just, oh, well, right click. It's not there because it's running already, but you can stretch it still. So if that happens, you could stretch it, and then click transition, and that would fix it. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's a great question. That's a great question.
If you haven't started the video yet, like if you haven't transitioned to
which here I can. Sure. Transform, and then fit to screen, and that would fill the screen at that point. Or you could do stretch to screen. Fill. It depends how different the size is compared to the screen. If you have a square image and you want to stretch that out, like and it's full in the middle, and you want to stretch that out, you just be aware that it is going to warp things at that point. So you have to. Yes, so if you do fit to screen, then it won't it'll fill as much of the screen as it can, but it won't distort anything. All right, so we've done our video, and we're going to transition over to Brian speaking. Dan, do you want to get up and say something? Okay. Anyways, and then we have our speaking with scripture. So Jer actually did this a different way than I do this morning, and I think I like his way better. Yes, I liked something the way you did it better. Can you believe that? What he did was now again, this is warped because of the whole screen thing. But what he did is he left this blank. Now, I wouldn't use the hide for this, Jer, because you're going to save yourself a click. But I would, if you leave it on any of these gaps, it will just show the background. You see these gaps that I'm clicking on in between the slides there? So the same thing with the songs as well. It will show the background for the next slide, or for the next song. Yeah. So what he did was he transitioned first, and then he went and showed the scripture. I used to do the other. I think I actually like that better. So there you go. Either way is honestly just fine. And don't worry if you're not too fast at that at first. The more you do it, it starts to get really, really quick. Again, I always like to... Oh, we're not... Yeah, the question was why is this not showing properly? It's because we are using a duplicated display instead of an extended display, so it's changed some of the... It's warped because of the display settings. Yeah. So that's a good question. No, we're not going to change it now, because if we change it now, then it'll be messed up when we go back. Yes. All right. So I like to actually keep my finger during speaking kind of just resting on the S button. S will bring up your scriptures, because then I don't have to hurry and find it if he said something all of a sudden, or she, whoever. And then again, you just select your scriptures. Make sure you click add, and it will automatically go. That's the other thing I like about not using the hide function. It will automatically go to the first scripture even before you've clicked done. So it just gives you that extra second to click done and then get back in, so then you can go through the rest of your slides there. Okay. So that's speaking and speaking with scripture. And again, if you just keep clicking transition, it will go back and forth between that slide and the previous slide. So for speaking, that's great, because you don't have to worry about selecting the other slide. You can just keep clicking transition to go back and forth there. Yeah. All right, so the last thing we would do is run our credits video. So when Brian starts doing his the blessing of Aaron with his arms in the air, looking very pastoral, you can get ready to play the credits video, which we're actually going to make some changes to, because we have more people to credit now. We have you guys. All right, so then when Brian's done, just give it a second, make sure he's done talking. If Pam's playing the piano in the background, which sometimes she does, sometimes she doesn't, try to wait until she finishes she will kind of end her song. I usually just like to let her do that and then transition out of that instead of just cutting her right off, because that's what it will do, is it will just straight cut it off. And I think it just makes a nicer transition. Anyways, so we can do our credits video. And then we're going to come back to our YouTube studio here. Now I'm just going to let this play, because what you're going to have to do is wait until the end of the credits video before you can turn this off. Because of the delay, if you turn it off right away, like if we ended it now, it would end before the end of the credits video. So does anybody have any questions while we're waiting for this to end? Okay. I'll show, yeah, Dale's just asked, where do you hit end? And I will show that in just a second. It's this big, yeah, this big button up here that says end stream. No, that's your dad's problem. Yeah. Oh, Esri will still be the consultant. It's just Jer will no longer be the attendant. And when we're pretty much gone completely, obviously we'll take our slides out there. Okay, so now it's gone black there. Our video's ended. We're going to click end stream. Are you sure you want to end? Yes. All right, our stream has ended. I'm going to come back here to OBS and stop streaming. So we're actually done with OBS then for the day, so we can close that. We can exit out of our OpenSong here. I am going to quickly show you how to edit a video. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, that's absolutely no problem. That's something that we can very easily do remotely, or Jer could do after the fact or anything like that. I just thought I'd at least show you more for interest's sake than anything else. So we're just going to click Edit in Studio. I like to do it right away because it's up there ready to go right away. The one that we just recorded, yes, I already did today's. Yeah. No, I just wanted to get it done. And if I do it right after church, I don't forget. So basically what ends up happening is that for a week, so the sermon we did today, there will be 2 versions up of it until next Sunday. Because I found if I said to myself, oh, well, I'll wait till it's uploaded and then I'll change it, I just kept forgetting. So basically the 2 versions are one edited and one not. So the one that says this date live stream is completely unedited. And the one that says that date and then, a sermon title is the edited version. And I'll show you what we do with that in a bit. So, yeah. So first of all, usually, yeah. Yes, the unedited would be our director's cut, I guess. We're still recording, Brian. Sorry. Anyways, what I was trying to say is, most of the time, the only thing you really need to worry about removing is the announcements at the beginning. Now, the only reason I do that is it adds a lot of time to the length of our video. And second of all, then people don't have to to scroll through and find it or whatever. And really after that week, most of the announcements aren't really that relevant. Anyways, so we're going to click trim. All right, so I'm just going to move this little blue thing here. So anything that's grayed out there on the left will be cut from the video. Okay? So what I like to do is I like to just press play, and you see this little line here with the little dot on top. I'm sure that's pretty small on your screen. I don't know if I can make it any bigger. Can you see that right there? All right. So I'm just going to drag that until I see. Now, normally what I do is I wait until I see, and it's usually Dan. He's looking over at me. I tell him to go. He takes a breath as he looks at the camera, and then he starts speaking. Basically, I wait until he takes that breath, and that's where I cut it to. So it doesn't look like, so we don't get him staring at me waiting. We just get the hi and welcome to People's Full Gospel Church. So I'm just going to drag this over to about that point. There's also this scale here will allow you to do finer edits because sometimes you will need a bit finer edit. It actually goes quite fine. It's a really simple but I find really effective little editor that they have built into this. So let's say that's our, and the easiest way to check is just to drag this over into the gray, and if you click play, it will automatically jump to the actual beginning. So that's how you can check and see what other people would see. So once you've done all your edits, again, usually it would just be in the beginning. In the event that you need to edit something in the middle, I'll just do this as an example. Like there was a few weeks ago, I don't know, I think Brian inhaled part of his mask or something. I can't remember. Anyways, he went into this big coughing fit and we had to go get water and all this stuff. It was like, we don't really need to keep that in the final edit of the stream. So if I click split, then what that allows me to do is to cut out sections in the middle. And again, if I move my... I have never removed anything because you were boring, Brian. You're rarely boring. Anyways, so we'll click play here. And once it gets to that point, if you watch, you'll see it just jump to the other frame there. And then it will show you what your edit actually was. And again, if you wanted to take that out, you can just undo it. Really, really easy, simple editor. So I'm just going to click preview to finalize those changes. And then we're going to click save as new. So this is no longer our live service. So I'm going to get rid of the copy of. And I'm going to change it to why we do good stuff. That's what we've been talking about lately, right, Brian? Okay. Now, normally you would list this as public. But because this is just a trial thing that we're doing, I'm going to put it as unlisted. So you want to make sure that any of the videos you're putting up are all public. So I'm going to click save as new, and this is how we get our 2 versions for that week. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to my channel videos, because it will take up to 24 hours for that new video to appear on YouTube anyways. Yeah. It's usually a lot less, yeah. It depends on how many videos are made that day. And yeah. So we're going to go back to our channel videos. Yes. Yeah, they can watch the live preview immediately. So here we have, these are our channel videos, and you see we have 2 lists of videos. Here we have uploads, which the saved versions, so the one that we just did, counts as an upload, not live. Okay? So here's the one that I've made, why we do good stuff, and here it says it's 95% processed there. Now, if you notice some of these say partially blocked, that's because there is a copyright claim against that video. Usually it's because of a song that we did during worship. It's not really that big a problem. It's not anything you need to worry about. It just means that that video might not appear in certain regions, or if our video would have made any ad revenue money, it wouldn't go to us. It would go to whoever made the claim, right? Either way, that's fine. We don't really care if somebody else gets the 12 cents or whatever. Not in this area, no. It's usually in regards to a different country. Like, actually, I can show you. Yeah. Completely on YouTube? Oh, okay. Because it's the exact instrumentation. Thank you. That's what I was trying to do. So if we click on see details. Okay. So money to save. So what are the results? Video cannot be monetized. That's fine. Above all, video cannot be monetized. Video cannot be monetized. So it's been partially blocked in Canada. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Denmark. It's been blocked in Denmark. Don't know how many Danes we were reaching, but sorry. Yeah. Okay, so then what I would do is I would go to the live video. So I would go into live. I would find the one from last week and basically unlist it. Again, we're not going to Actually, there's today's. Yeah, okay. So let's pretend that this was the one from last week. So I'm just going to change it from public to unlisted. And that what that's going to do is it means we still keep the copy of the original video in case we realized something got cut out of it accidentally or whatever. But it's not readily available to anybody on YouTube. And it just keeps our page a lot cleaner as well. Like they're not always seeing two versions of everything, right? Yeah. So that's I think that's it, really. I mean, you can close VLC, just close any other programs that you were using, and leave it. Do not turn it off. No, please don't turn the computer off or put it to sleep, because this computer here, it's a server computer. It is made to be on all the time. It's just fine for it to be on all the time. What that allows us to do is it allows Dan and I to come in and remote access it in case there's a problem or something that we need to fix, or so we can set up for you guys for the next day or that day or what have you. So, yeah. Nope. Yes. So I just realized, I'm so sorry guys, I forgot to go over the soundboard stuff. I'll just do it as a separate thing. So just as a review from last week, now unfortunately it's really hard for you to see on the screen there, and I apologize for that. There's really only a couple of things you need to do with the soundboard every week. So first of all, you need to make sure that all of the The lights are off, they're working. If they're on, they're not on. Yes, if they're on, they're stopped. That's why there's red lights. If that helps anybody. Red means stopped. So just before they start, before the service starts, you need to make sure that the pulpit mic is on for sure, but you need to make sure that all the instruments are turned on. Yep. And a lot of times you'll want the computer muted, or if it's all the way down, that's fine too. And then once the music's done, I usually go through and I mute everything but the pulpit mic, unless Pam is still up playing some background music. Obviously, you wouldn't turn her off if she's still playing. I mean, you could, but
if you want that background music playing in the room, that's when you unmute the computer, correct? CLC music.
Sorry. So the question was, if you want the background music playing in the room, you would unmute the computer. Yes, that is absolutely correct, and you would just turn the volume up until it's at a good level. Just be conscious that you're not going to hear it quite as loud as people out there because you're sitting under the speaker. So for background music, I usually put it to so I can hear it quietly. Again, it's just supposed to be background, so it doesn't need to be blasting.
Make sure you mute it when you start the stream.
Yes, and if you are going to turn it on, make sure to turn it off before we actually start the stream. Otherwise, everybody in here will hear it over everything else. It'll interfere. Yeah.
Why do you turn the little white mic on?
The little. The snowball mic is on all. You don't need to do anything with it. It's just connected to the computer. It deals with itself. Yeah. The only other thing you need to do with the soundboard is you need to worry about Pam, and you need to worry Pam's keyboard and Brian. Okay. So when you start the service, these yellow buttons along here, knobs, not buttons, they control the volume of the individual things, so the microphone or the instrument, going out over the internet. It has zero effect on what you hear in the room, so be conscious of that. If you want to hear what's going on with there, we do have a pair of headphones here that will allow you to hear exactly what's going out there. So if you're really concerned that, I don't know, if people are saying, I can't hear Brian, I can't hear so-and-so, take a listen in there first. See if you can hear it. If you can hear it fine, chances are it's a problem on their end. So check there first before you freak out and think something's actually wrong. And it's not, or it maybe you forgot to change something. I don't know.
Or someone was dusting it.
Yes, it said he was dusting and things got changed, which has happened. So these are Brian's going out here. So all that you need to be conscious of, usually when he starts, I leave it up all the way for when he's speaking. When he's doing music, I usually turn it to 3/4. And then when we're done music, it goes back to all the way up. And then Pam's sort of the opposite of that. When we're doing music, she is also at 3/4, but then when Brian's speaking, we actually want to turn her down, so we turn her down to half. So during music, they're both at 3/4. During speaking, one goes up, one goes down. Any questions on that? Okay. Any other questions in general before we close out here? All right. Well, I guess we'll end there for today. And then Dale, do you want to come give this a try next week during service?
She said no.
No, you can do it.
I don't think I'm ready yet.
I think you are. I will be sitting right here beside you. How about that?
How about the next
Okay, we'll work it out.
one? I'm getting more training lessons, though.
Yeah.
She's gotta watch this video.
This is awful.
Oh.
I mean, it's
Your
in
list
there.
isn't complete
It's
yet.
in there, but it's.
Anyways, I'll say goodbye. I'll say goodbye to anybody who happens to be watching this, and thank you for you watching, and thank you very much for everybody who's come to these sessions. I know it's a lot to give up an hour or two on your Sunday afternoon, and we really appreciate it because we need you guys. So thank you very much, and bye.